everybody. So we have a long-term partnership now with Alexandra Lebret with the European Producers Club. And each year we have a delegation of producers. Alexandra will tell, but I think we have many this year from the European Producers Club, and we organize a panel. This year we discussed to do a panel on AI. So we had a discussion, I think, in September with Alexandra, because every festival now wants to do this panel on AI. But we said we don't want to do another panel on legal aspects and, you know, and all the issue about script writing and using AI, but more a very concrete panel with producers, with so to have a bit the tools. And so I think it was Alexandra has worked and think about it, but we are very. I'm also very interested to hear where we stand.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hi to everyone. My name is Alexandra Lebret. I'm running an organization called the European Producers Club that you maybe know. We are defending the independent production company within the ecosystem of the independent sector. Before starting, I would like to pay tribute to Jeremy with the Festival of Les Arcs. It's the 15 years. I can tell you, I've been dedicated in my career to gather that community of independent sector together in Europe, and being French is not an easy task. And when I'm in Les Arcs, I can feel the same feeling that we have inside the EPC, meaning everyone counts. All nationalities are only one. We are one continent. Thank you very much, Jeremy, because I feel that I'm not alone to fight for that. Thank you. And you should thank him. So, yes, he asked me to get out of my comfort zone and not to speak about regulation, about stakes, but about concrete solution on AI. How AI can help the producers' tasks. And everyone I've been asked, do you use AI? The first reaction was fear. There is a lot of fear about AI, not only on the regulation side, but also on the human side. I think the image that we have of AI is done by us, by the film Space Odyssey, by Terminator, and I'm missing some others. And I do believe that at the end of the day, we are all fearing to be irrelevant, and to have our data stolen by a machine that will use it maybe against us. The films told us that it's always against humanity, but I wanted to have a positive view on it. So we did a lot of search about AI tool dedicated to the feature film and the TV series, the content industry. It was not an easy task to identify them, to get into it. And we identified few solutions. We are not going to separate AI and generative AI because it makes no sense in that discussion. We are going to explore some concrete software using AI from text to text. From maybe you can launch the. Sorry, there's a slide. Yes, yes. There was some slide. Yes. So this one was the first, fear. Sorry. So, and then yes, the other ones. But we separate a little bit our presentation from text to text. Next one, from text to video. Encore. Okay, next one. Yes. And from text to image and video to video, because there are different tools helping in that field. Text to text, we will start by, it's how the AI is analyzing the text and what can you do in order to either improve or manage what you're having, reading the text and transforming it into a data or a text. We will go for that first part to MovieChainer, Jean-Baptiste Babin, who was formerly the founder of Backup, also managing director of MediMage, when I believe you were confronted with AI, the use of AI, because in animation is very profound. And then you created MovieChainer. You will speak about us. We will go through text-to-text by experimentation on 2 script analysis solutions, Claude and ChatGPT. I've asked 2 of my producers from the EPC, Martina and Alessandro, to try this solution, and they will tell us about, what you can get out of this solution. And there is also for video to video and image to video, someone that is online, Pierre Zandrowicz, is the director. He directed the first short, only directed with generative AI, that was selected at Tribeca, last selection. And he will explain how is it revolutionary, how AI can produce entirely a film. So that's for the session. It's concrete, it's not a panel, we are not going to discuss. If you have questions, you can ask them. If you have contribution, you can also give it to us. I know that Tom Dercourt has a lot, already a long experience with ChatGPT-4, who knows everything about him. And so don't hesitate, it's not the usual panel that we are having. So let's start by Jean-Baptiste. In what your solution is using AI, and why is it interesting for the producers? How can you help them and support them?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Jérémy. It's a great pleasure to be here. I'm given the difficult mission to actually depict what we've been up to in 7 minutes. Just to give you a bit of landscape, the Backup Media Group has been active over the past 20 years in financing feature films and TV series. We have a catalog of over 500 titles that we've financed, co-financed, produced, or whatever level of involvement. So at some point I was doing my annual reporting to my rights holders with my Excel spreadsheets, and not remembering what I had done on the same Excel spreadsheet 6 months beforehand. So from this we started creating MovieChainer as a web app, a SaaS, where you actually pay a subscription and you manage your portfolio and your titles. And that's been going on for the past 8 years. It took us some time to become, a proper tech company, an agile company, welcome developers or our techies in-house, and get this business going on a SaaS basis. And that's been fruitful. We have 45 clients, over half of them are non-French from all over the place. I'd say the bulk of our clients are independent sales agent, distributors, and we have a few producers that have volume, and most of them also have distribution activities on top of that. So, it's good. It's a steady growth, and we could be rejoicing, but the problem that we targeted is that we have one massive pain point, is that the way we structured our SaaS is that we would actually deliver a session with all your data migrated, and give you the keys of the car all set up. And what we would notice is that inevitably, after a couple of interns screwing up the database, we'd have decline in the regressions in the database, regression in the data, and therefore people were starting having doubts on the results of our system, and we'd have a decline in use. And that's what we felt was going wrong. And to be honest, it's not something just for us. All our competitors are facing the same issue. The problem is structural. We don't have any resources to handle our data and have a data-centric approach to our business. Our data is scattered around different drives, different hard drives, different online clouds. So we thought that we needed someone to actually get rid of this, and we launched our R&D department 3 years ago on machine learning, which is I would say the discriminative AI. That's what we do. So for everyone of you, AI is a fascinating subject. We don't do Gen AI, so we're not going to write scripts. We do discriminative AI, which is the AI that's already saving people around the world, that's helping doctors identify brain tumors a lot more efficiently than people who've studied 15 years. So from there on, we thought, hey, we could use that to actually look and retrieve contractual fields. Our app depends on 2 main streams of data, financial data and legal data. And that's the two types of data that we've helped and trained our AI protocols on. So maybe we can show you and dive into it so that you have a good concrete example of what the system does. Yeah, so that's the case one. It's getting contracts. So the sales team or your team is back from a festival. They've got all those documents on their computers, and the first thing that the app is going to do is actually tidy your house. It's like a robot vacuum cleaner. So it inspects all the files and tells you, look, I've got this document. Apparently it's a contract. It's related to that title. And it does this for the whole batch of documents. So here we have contracts, we have scripts, we have budgets, we have posters. And what the app is going to do is immediately kind of go through it and enable you to retrieve what format it is, what title it belongs to. And so that's the first step to having a tidy house, is that you're going to archive all those files. And in our internal archiving system, all the titles are going to be tagged. So this is already the good, efficient way of establishing your metadata for your film. And it's going to actually get all those documents in the system. So when you're looking in one specific project, what the app is going to flag is that you have 2 new documents that have been actually allocated to that title. So here we have a YouTube statement and a contract. So we're going to do the first one, which is actually sorting out the contract. So what the AI protocol is doing right now is actually going and reading through the contracts to isolate the relevant data maps that you're going to need to actually implement in our system. But we could be actually tracking any data maps. Every single data field that we're mapping has a specific algorithm. We're not chasing the split of rights, and this is what the AI generates. Those blue fields are the data fields that have been automatically implemented through machine learning. So you still have a manual check. We don't actually set things in stone through AI. We still believe in humans actually understanding their deals. But the app is actually enabling you to retrieve this directly on OCR. So you don't need to leave the system to check whether the data fields are correct. You have the text, the full text that is in the contract that is actually spotted by the system and enables you to check that this is actually consistent with the data fields that you want. So that's what we've done, and from there on, this is set in stone and this contract is valid. We've switched it on, and that's what we do. The second example is on a YouTube statement. The YouTube statement, there's an intermediary step where if it's a statement, you have to map the Excel spreadsheet so that the app retrieves what type of data is in what field. So that's the first time that this contract is going through the system. The next time it pops over, it will be more rapid and spotted immediately. But we're doing the whole protocol from the first time to show you. This is the interface that the system is using. So it's actually mapping all the different fields, and it requires that you check, am I getting this right? Is this field the relevant amount? Is this actually pertaining to the titles? So the system is actually requesting that you check every single field, because of course, if you get that wrong, the system will get it wrong too. So right now we're isolating the different maps. It's actually helping you, saying, look, you need to check this, and go through the system. So what we need to do now is actually spot the right columns, and that's what we're doing. And from the moment you've got the right columns and you've got no mistakes appearing, you just green light this, and all you need to do is retrieve the relevant agreement that all those that this YouTube statement is actually pertaining to. So on this one, we're going to call the output deal that we have with YouTube. To be honest, most of those deals will have no deals because you don't have a signed agreement with YouTube necessarily. But you could have several agreements pertaining to the same, and then you actually submit. And what it says is that you have 172 payment lines that have been automatically added into your system. So from now on, well, you're ready. The whole YouTube statement is in the system, so you could be invoicing YouTube straight away. That's what we're going to be doing. So the most difficult part is actually just creating the name of the invoice that you're going to be sending YouTube, and picking up on the relevant VAT fields. And here you go. You've got the right allocation of revenues for any given. You can invoice the right amount for every single title. We could push the logic even further, because from now on, we could actually be reporting live to any of the 172 rights holders who have been, whose content have been licensed on this. I think that's live reporting is a dash too early, but is this where we're going, where the whole industry is going? Yes, we're convinced that this is the case, that we have to do more with less. And that you know, this YouTube statement is 230 euros for a monthly use of that catalog of titles. So to be honest, if you're spending more than 5 minutes actually assessing this, you're worsening your case. You know, so that's what we're doing. We're using AI for automation on legal and financial data gathering. So we're sticking to the boring stuff, the thing we've been doing for the past 20 years, financing and making sure that the system is efficient and transparent. And that's where discriminative AI has proven for us to be extremely successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jean-Baptiste. It's very impressive. You know, having someone that taking care of my computer to ordering it, for me it's a dream, and also taking part of that. You know, it's not a dirty job, but it's something that is asking for capacity that I don't have to make correct invoices and depending on that. So that's very helpful, and we can see that it's going to change positively the way the producers and the distributors, because it's very distributor oriented, but it is also key for the producers, in my view, to have a look into the distribution side of the film.
Yes, that's where AI can make a difference. It's actually streamlining the whole relationship. Our system enables you to retro-engineer your sub-distributors' license agreements to make sure it's compliant with what it signed with the sales agent, and to make sure that you're actually checking every single step. So if you have to do this manually and retro-engineer every reporting, that's really tedious. So yes, that's what we were enabled to do. I think data is control. Understanding is control. We're all like flabbergasted when we turn like Netflix on, and it gives you clear proposals of what you should be watching. It puts you back where you were watching exactly. So we do want to have this and capitalize on those metadata and be able to sort out from development stage, you know, what themes, what's been fruitful, what's brought you money, on which territory, and that's the information that you need to be able to retrieve instantly.
And that can be very helpful when your contract ends with your sales agents, because in most of the case, you have the rights back and you don't know what to do with it, because you don't know who, looking into the files, into the reports manually, it's very complicated. So now you can still continue to make the sales thanks to that.
And yes, and the whole industry is becoming a lot more fragmented. We used to be in the temple of exclusivity, you know, one distributor per territory, capitalizing, bringing value, and that's fading out. You know, now when I was at Millimage, actually delivering means like having the full catalog 24/7 on the internet, on YouTube, and you know, the delivery guy would actually take some territories out when we were doing a TV sales, but everything has to be available. We have to go towards yield management, where our content is available online as much as we can, wherever it is available. And so this is micro-transactional, so the cost advantage ratio of doing a deal needs to be always favorable, so no human intervention, no tedious delivery, instant automation of all those processes, and that's what we're kind of trying to lean towards too.
Thank you. Let's go to the second example on text-to-text, which is the analysis of script. I ask, so Martina will be the first one to answer the question and to tell about experiment on AI. Martina Haubrich is a producer. She produced TV series, she produced feature film, documentaries, and series. Recently, she's from Germany. CALA Film is the name of the company. You have been producing films that have been awarded everywhere. The first, your first reaction was fear, as when I asked you, can you please try this solution with a script? Say, oh, I don't want to put my script into a solution, and I don't know the solution, then I'm not a good speaker, and whatever. The fears were huge, and we finally tested a solution called Claude. That was mentioned to me by someone else. It's a software. It's not available in France and neither in Europe. So we had to go through the States to have access to it. But someone told me that it was very, very, very efficient. And so maybe you can tell us about your experiment. So Claude is, like a ChatGPT. You can ask questions, but you can have a lot of questions, and please go ahead.
So thank you, Alexandra, for bringing me here, and also taking the challenge of using Claude. And then I must say that I got into it quite a bit. Claude can be used also from here. You just have to apply a US or non-European phone number, so you can use it for free, like for probably like 20 questions. So that's a good start. And when I further investigated on Claude, it's basically an AI developed by Anthropic, and it's based on text. And I asked both Claude and ChatGPT-4, what is the difference between Claude and ChatGPT-4? And both came up with answers quite clearly claiming that they are more secure, more reliable, and better to use, whereas ChatGPT, last information they received was from April 23, so they wouldn't even care about Claude too much. So what we did is I was seriously afraid to upload a script that we are working on because we don't know what's going to happen with it. So I used the script of the film that we shot this year. It's a German production. It's a European subject matter. And the structure of the script is quite unusual because it's not a linear story with 3-act dramaturgy, but it is 4 chapters, and each chapter told by one of the 4 main characters. So that was already very interesting to understand. Would Claude, in this case, be able to analyze the script? Because obviously it's US, it's kind of trained by a lot of data with probably more mainstream films. But the result, I must say, was really interesting. So we did ask quite specific questions. Can you analyze the characters? Can you... so it did. Can you summarize a quick pitch? Can you summarize a 20-point pitch? And can you write a synopsis? So it was quite good, the result. And it's something that, we do every time we develop a script, we propose for funds. These are the things we have to do. I just always have to keep the but, because still I wouldn't be willing to upload a script that is to be produced. That's a question. So, so then we went further into asking, could you give us a potential budget for this film? And it was really amazing, I must say, that the budget Claude came up with was between 3 and 5 million. I'm not sure if we have these answers already on the slides. I think so, yeah.
So these are the questions, and we highlight some of the questions that we find interesting.
This is for later, yes. I mean, so this is the production budget.
Yes, the production budget.
And it really came up with a quite good breakdown of it. And interestingly is that I asked the same question to ChatGPT-4. The budget range was higher. It was 3 to 8 million, but ChatGPT-4 included a huge distribution budget. So that was interesting, because that's something we, as at least German, I guess European producers, we hardly can include in our budget. So it's really
What is the budget? What was the budget?
The actual budget was 3.8.
So it's exactly in the script analysis.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. So
then another question that was interesting is how to make it more international.
Yes, there were some things that turned out to be quite stereotypical, I would think. I mean, the global themes are there. So the international title is Turning Tables, and I must say that the suggestions to make it more international, because I think it is international and it's a universal subject matter, obviously very timely, very political, about a young Moroccan guy who wants to go to Europe, and a British artist who lives in Morocco, a German conservative politician, and her assistant with Moroccan roots. So these are the four main characters, and the script is really very subtle and very precise in the characterization, and both softwares were able to analyze it. I would say Claude was more precise and even more empathic in analyzing the characters, which I found quite interesting. Can you maybe proceed with the next? So yeah, we asked for casting suggestions, and well, basically the answer was that we are obviously very boring our casting, because Claude suggested the actors that we actually worked with. So it was German cast, Barbara Zukova, and as the British artist is Lambert Wilson. Those are the most known actors, and also for the not so known, there was mentioned one actress from Germany we considered. In the end, we worked with someone else, but it's interesting. So then we kind of started playing, make it more European, make it more Oscar, and the answers were quite, I mean, yeah, suggesting Kate Blanchett and Meryl Streep and all these Oscar-winning actresses. So it's obvious. And another funny fact was, make it Oscar-winning film. Maybe you should work with a director like Quazon, like some really highly acclaimed Oscar-winning directors. So, but luckily we have a good director, so we finished the film. And we asked for distribution strategies. And that was also really interesting, because not only did we ask who are potential sales agents, but also could you suggest, come up with estimates. And to be honest, if that came out in reality, I finally be rich. And it's amazing, the figures, and it really divided by territories. Well, yes, it's interesting to see. I'm not sure if it's based on former data where Artos Films really were able to make a lot of films. So it was really interesting to get this input, and the suggestions were good. I must say they were really good. And then this morning, actually, I asked some quite more moral questions. So I really got into it because I uploaded the script, and there is a gay artist and a young Moroccan guy who is maybe not even an adult. So there is a love interest, but it's kind of in a very decent multi-layers level. And I asked, quite frankly, would the audience feel morally indignant if Richard started a love relationship with Malik? And the answer was, this content may not violate our content policy. So I didn't get any answer. And then I said, please proceed, because there's no violation. And then I got a huge list of analyses. What if, you know, one of the main characters has a love interest? And then it disappeared all of a sudden. Like after it showed up, like a whole full list, it disappeared, and I got again the same message that it might violate moral issues. So I said, there is no violation, please repeat, and it came up again, and then I copied it, and I got the full list of very morally PC, of course, you know, we know it's a subject matter that's quite delicate. So it's interesting how this software deals with it and really understanding the moral issues. So just to wrap up, I asked ChatGTP about, I asked actually, can you actually initiate distribution of this film? And ChatGPT told me I'm not programmed to do that, and I cannot contact directly sales agents or distributors. And it gave me 8-point suggestions. We, as producers, all know by heart everything you have to do: go to the markets, contact, submit to the great festivals, contact the good-known sales agents. And the last sentence is: remember, film distribution is a complex and competitive field, and success often requires persistence, networking, and a bit of luck.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Martina. When we tried Claude with Martina at the office, we were actually thinking about trying a software that was analyzing script, and we could improve the script by, you know, what are the emotional arcs of each character, what are the stakes, where do you think that it's weak, and how can we improve? And then we got a little bit deeper into the question, how can we make this script cheaper? And the answer was super interesting. It was mentioning some secondary characters that were not very present and didn't bring anything to the story, and that we could get rid of them, and some scene that could also be transformed. And then we asked about the financing plan, and it came with the financing plan. And then we asked about the distribution, and then we also asked about, you know, who do you think would be the influencer that can change the distribution, and identify the influencers that would be relevant for it, with giving us even their contact details. So the surprise of it was not about the quality of analyzing the script on my side, but about the verticality we can have on this use, meaning it's not about the script, it's also about the distribution strategy. It's also about, you know, remember what they said about Japan? They say, oh, it can be very good for Japan, and they estimate, and they said, oh, it can be through this person to release it. So we were surprised by that, because we didn't expect it. And I think ChatGPT did the same for ChatGPT 4. They are quite comparable.
Yeah, I would summarize really that they are comparable. And I think from really getting more into research, what is ChatGPT and what is the origin of Anthropic, and they are. Anthropic was just supported by Amazon with 3 billion. So I don't really think there is a big kind of moral or even contextual or let's say intellectual difference. They might have a different approach, but the result is pretty much the same, I would think.
And I think as a producer, it can be a very useful tools, because we are, you know, facing decision every minute of our life, and the producers is very lonely, as you all know. You know better than me, and it can become a dialogue with the machine, giving you just, you know, reply that you are expecting a discussion, and that's what I discussed with Tom, who is having a lot of discussion with the ChatGPT 4, and also it learned me, because the machine is learning from you. The more question you ask with a precise angle, the more answer it will give you with that angle.
And it will always ask you back, what do you think? What is your opinion? And it really you really enter a dialogue. And that's the fun part of it, I would think, because then you start saying thank you. And it's a bit bizarre, but I find it really interesting and absolutely worth playing with, I would say, yes.
I discussed with other members of the EPC, and a woman that is using ChatGPT for 1 year, and now she's doing all her application to every media fund, national film fund, with ChatGPT. So I think the only thing maybe that we should ask you is transparency. If it's done through ChatGPT or AI, you should mention it in your application, because that's what we are asking to the AI solution is transparency. So we present a project, we need to have some tools that we usually have to pay someone to do it or to spend a lot of time to do it. And there are some solutions that exist on the market, AI, that can be helpful. We tried two. We tried Lumen 5 and Runway. And so I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Lesarc, for the invitation. Well, I will rename this part of the panel AI for Dummies, and I am the dummy because I want to contextualize. I never used this kind of tool before. I was kind of curious about ChatGPT, and I used a little bit ChatGPT before. And on top of this, at the beginning, Alexandra, we were in Gran Canaria at EPC Encounters, and we attended a fantastic panel on AI. It was from a producer from Lionel, and it was a great panel, to be honest. And I say, well, the reaction was wow. So when she asked me at the beginning to do what Martina did, analyzing a script, I was quite happy because I say, okay, I can talk about analyze a script, that it's something that I'm familiar with. But then that has changed, and she asked me something that is not my comfort zone at all, on top of not being comfort with AI, that it's using this tool for creating video mood board or something like this. Because in our company we create a lot of dossiers and not that much video mood board in the developing stage. Of course we create trailers, but trailers is more on an advanced stage when you have some clips or video materials. So it was kind of a big test for me to jump into this world. That the first feeling is it was more suited for commercial uses, not that much for our industry. And the other feeling is that okay, it's kind of a job to do this, because about the prompt. You know, as much time you spend on it, as much precise you are to giving the prompt to the machine, of course, and as much money you spend on the tool, as much result you can get. So we use both the beta version for free, and even though one of the video we are going to shoot, we kind of steal from the preview that to download properly we need to pay something because we use some stock images that were on the marketplace, so you have to buy for it. But here we are B2B context, so it's okay. I don't know if we want to show the Lumen result, and I can tell something about it.
He did the same. He sent a script that was already shot because he was afraid of
a synopsis. I put a synopsis inside because it was not possible to put a script. And yeah, because the idea of this tool is to create a video that it's for. I mean, it's not a film. It's not a entire movie. It's more a promotional video. So I select the synopsis of Margini, the premiere in Venice Critic Weeks, and we get the audience award. We define it a punk comedy, but basically it's a dramedy, art house dramedy. So yeah.
the entire script, and then you push a button, and then it's that. You know, it's not that. That's the prompt. That's where come the prompts. Sadly.
Yes, I don't know if anyone watched the movie. Maybe Chiara. Yeah, but what did you get from it? If anyone want to give some feedback. Okay, I'm not happy about the results, of course. Yeah.
There's no aesthetic.
No production value.
Yeah, so I was not happy about the results at all, and the first result was not this. The music was another music. Not, I mean, I think the only thing that I am kind of that it's close to the mood of the movie. It's a little bit the music, but I was not able to find a proper one from the list. Of course, you can upload your own music. So this is a very basic test. So you can implement a lot. So you can insert inside the prompt your own videos. So you have some clips from the movie. You can insert them. If you have your own music, you can insert them. Of course, you can write everything. You can select the you know, the font and the everything, but this is like a fine-tuning of a very basic fine-tuning of the first result I get. So it's not that far away from just push a button and get the results. So then you can, of course, change a little bit the text, select different image for the catalog, the free available catalog of the marketplace, or insert your own. But I think as much as your prompt and contents from what you have, if you have some shooting or if you have some location scouting images, yes, I think it will be better. But it took a lot of time. So the feeling I have is, of course, we are producers. So I don't do this daily basis, so I prefer to hire, you know, someone that can prepare a video mood board. For instance, for the dossier we used to prepare for the application or whatever, we collect materials with the head of department, the director, we do scouting, we do a lot of activities, we collect materials and we put everything into the dossier, working with a graphic designer. So I think for this, this could be a good tool for a video maker, for instance, that it's more familiar with the editing programs and that can, you know, put a little bit of aesthetic and taste on it. And of course, as much as you collect materials to put in the prompt, and it could be better than this. Yeah.
So you did a second try?
Yes, because Alexandra was pushing a lot on the other one.
Yes, because I tested them and I was a little bit disappointed by Lumen 5 as well with some script. And so I tried Runway, which is another solution that was advised by Pierre, the next speaker. And so please can you go? And I find it more, you know, cinematographic.
There's no music in this one.
So weird.
Typical Italian surroundings.
Okay. I mean, basically the idea is the same, to put the synopsis, a text in the tool, and of course the aesthetic seems a little bit better in terms of quality, but in terms of the results, it's completely not related with the movie, because we are not talking about UK punk, because the movie is set in 2008 in the province of Grosseto, that it's a very small town in the south of Tuscany, and basically that's why it's a comedy, because can you imagine a punk hardcore band in the south of Tuscany trying to organize a concert in their small town, and so the mood and the taste of the movie is not here at all, and this one, it's a little bit better in terms of you know, cinematic you know, taste, but again, to create a good result, maybe we need a director, and that I think that's why he suggested it, because as a director does, they put a lot of energy and effort. It's their job to, you know, work on it, and it's something in between this and animation, I think, in my opinion.
From the experience we had at the office trying the solution, I think we need to learn from the machine, as well as I mentioned before, the machine needs to learn from us. But on that solution, what I find interesting is that, as you mentioned, the quality of the image was good. But putting a whole text is for me maybe the mistake. We should have, you know, few ideas, and then they generate images, and then you can edit. It's in the same tool. It's very easy to manage, and you can edit them into a good mode. Should you have a director? Of course, it's better to have a director to do that kind of things. But you know, it's also something that it can be do more easily, and even with you know, your post-production team, or you can also handle that. There is another tool that we tested called Full Journey, but it's on Discord. It's another language, it's another environment, and we find it very difficult to handle. But this one, I think we need to learn about it, because you know, it's so fascinating to have. You put a sentence, and then you have an image of someone moving. That person doesn't exist, and she can, you know, it can speak, but we don't know. It has no existence. For me, it's a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had one question, because you guys both did post-mortem trials on films that were already done, and I understand completely why you did this. My question is, if you were doing this on a film, you know, and trying it on a film that's actually currently in development, would you think that the results you had would have inspired you somehow, you know, to either go in one direction or actually to get away from one direction? Do you think that's inspiring or helpful?
Okay, in this case, not at all, but in the case of what you did, completely, because I mean, if you get some information from ChatGPT or Cloud, then you can elaborate it. You know, this is more. I mean, the results, it's far away from a good results, in my opinion. So it's not inspiring me because it's not giving me ideas or solutions. It's more trying to reach something that it's far away from what I can reach in the classical solution. But in the case of the text to text, or you know, asking question and have a discussion. This is not a discussion, by the way. It's more a tool, you know. In the case of a machine that you can talk with the machine, it's super inspiring, because I mean, even if the answer sometimes is stereotyped, or sometimes it's kind of, because I also used ChatGPT in this test we made before coming here to insert a synopsis of another movie that it is a co-production between Italy and Chile, and I asked how can I finance this movie, and the answer were kind of good, but for I don't know, film school producer, at our level, it could be inspiring to think about other things, and yeah, so yes, in this case, yes. I don't know if you want to add something.
No, I totally agree.
Thank you very much, Alessandro.
Thank you.
Very. So, as you said, we need a director, and so I asked Pierre, who is online with us, because he's in Paris, Pierre is the director of the first generative, fully generative short film, generative AI short film that was selected at Tribeca, meaning that there is no shooting, there is no, just images that were generated as we just see, but with a real, I'm not saying that you're not a director, but a real professional using AI. Pierre is, yes, he's coming. So he studies sociology. He then went to the advertising industry, making some advertisement, and then he got into VR, and then he met with yes, you are here, with AI technology. And he's the most advanced person I've met during to prepare that, who knows very well all the technology, and it happens that he's French, even if he is living in New York. And so, Pierre, you have seen the test that we did with Alessandro. I know that you are very experiment when it comes to runway, and you did.
I barely can hear you, just so you know.
Oh, can you hear us better? No.
Yeah,
so,
that's better. Thank you.
This is the old way. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you? So you maybe have seen the experiment that Alessandro did on using runway, or the solution text to video and image to video. I've seen your experiments, and of course they are much better. Maybe you can explain how you get into the use of these tools. What can you do, and why the short film is such revolutionary? Thank you. It's called I don't remember your short film, The Story of Life. No.
The film is called In Search of Time.
The Search of Time. Thank you.
Well, yeah. So I'll give you a little bit of context, even if you gave a few insights already. But so I used to direct indeed commercials like 10 years ago, and short films, and then I discovered VR. So virtual reality is a mix between video games and film in some ways, and you're immersed in the film more than just watching it. So I did that for like 7 years, and I still do a little bit. But when I moved to New York, I wanted to explore something else, and actually I moved there like almost 2 years ago, and it was exactly at the same moment that AI became somehow mainstream, or at least it became the AI that we know today. And so I started just to generate images with a tool called actually like more like a platform called Midjourney. I made images with it, and actually every day I was working on creating images for a film that I would love to direct. So I was creating like mood boards, and it was really interesting because in some ways it was a collaboration with the AI, because you can't always get exactly what you want. And at some points I was wondering how I could create a film with it. So I started to work a little bit with Runway, which was the solution that was the most accessible, online, subscription-based. But then, so it was text to image as well. So you have to, type text and then you get a sequence. But at that time, you could only generate like 3 seconds for a sequence. And it was really glitchy. And so it was really interesting to see online artists using that technology to create more experimental videos, or to create new worlds or new narration. But it wasn't really cinema. It was really just something weird to me. So I discovered online and other tools, but way more hard to explore. It was the open source tool. So basically it's free tools, but you have to know how to code and you have to know how to use them. I went online on YouTube. I did a few tutorials, and I started to learn how to use them. And what I did is, at some point, I really wanted to see how I could do a film. So with a friend of mine that I met in New York, the challenge was like, can we do a film just the two of us? And no team, just us and actors. So we took an iPhone and we shot everything with an iPhone, and then we processed all the image with AI to create an animation film. So it wasn't really perfect. It was kind of glitchy, but the story we wanted to tell was about memories. And actually AI tried to recreate what we were asking, but in a bad way. And I discovered online this new trend called AI surrealism. And it was this kind of thing that we made. It wasn't really an animation, a classic animation film. It was something where the AI was trying to reconstruct every image that we were asking for, but not in a good way. And in some ways, it became really poetic. So it was really interesting because we started to run some tests, and based on those tests, we wrote the story. So it was really a back and forth work with the AI, and we made everything all at once. So we were writing, creating the music, editing, shooting, and gathering everything at once. It wasn't really the greatest way to make a film, I have to admit, because it was really tiring at some point. But I think we made something kind of, it was kind of a UFO at the end of the day. And AI made us realize that, I mean, in some ways you have more freedom, but you have to embrace the fact that AI is not perfect at this stage. So it's a great way to explore a new imagery, I would say.
Pierre, do you have some extract that we can see? You sent us 3.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Sure.
to start by the 3 and you comment them? Do you have them? Yeah. We are going to show it now.
Okay, thank you.
Why do you drift so aimlessly? We are travelers, drifting through the days, each of us a wandering soul, yet bound by the same cosmic tide. And one day we will discover the truth.
You can see the director here.
The connected circles of our memory are like the rings of a tree stump, an intricate and delicate record of time. Each ring representing a moment, an experience, a feeling. They are markers of love, both lost and found, etched into the fibers of our being.
That's the short that we were mentioning. That was at Rebecca.
In his heart, a battle rages between the real and the unreal. The games he plays, the virtual worlds he visits, they feel as tangible as the world he wakes up to.
Pierre, thank you. It's beautiful. Come on,
Yeah.
guys. There's 2 videos that you did as a video artist, and the other one is a short that we mentioned in the Search of Time. do you want to add few words, or do you have questions on these in the room? How you said that you shot everything with your iPhone, and then you transform into the technology, and then you had that discussion with the AI. How did you end up? You know, at some point you were satisfied, because it can be an evolving process forever.
It's a really good question. I would have loved to keep working on it, but we had a deadline, which was the festival, so we had to stop at some point. But yeah, it is. That's a real issue. Is that you can do almost everything. I mean, there's no limit. Yeah, it's really endless. You could explore and explore, and actually, it's really fascinating, because in some ways you're exploring in your own world. So you know, the only there's not really a limit to that. So, but yeah, it was just the delivery date actually that made us stop.
That's the role of the producer. Any question in the room? No? Come on. No questions. How much did it cost to produce the In Search of Time, just after? Yeah. The budget?
Sorry, I didn't get...
The budget?
The budget? The budget's really hard to tell, because actually, so the kids in the film are my kids, so I didn't pay them yet. And then, well, I think the most what we paid was basically a place to work in New York, which can be really expensive. And then I had all the gears. It was, you know, mostly computers, and then we had to pay for the process time. Like actually what really is really expensive with AI is you have to pay for graphic cards to render the images, and this is what is the most expensive. So I would say the film was around $5,000, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yes, one question in the room.
I just wondered if you can tell us the programs which you used for this.
Midjourney, he said.
Sure.
No.
Actually, no, we didn't use Midjourney. We used something called Stable Diffusion.
Yes.
And Stable Diffusion is an open source tool. It's free, it's online, but it's not really user-friendly. You have to learn. It's not like a platform or anything. It's many different bricks of technology that you have to download and then connect them. But this is mostly what people are using. Like the AI community, I would say, are using a lot of those tools.
Any more questions? I think we are over time. Thank you very much, Pierre, for being with us this morning, and congratulations. This is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for your great attendance this morning. Thank you.